Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, the 27th of August, 2020. This is meteorologist Joe Rayo. We're putting this online at 12:45 in the afternoon on the Joe Rayo Weather Channel here on YouTube. We're going to provide you with the latest information as of midday concerning this potent hurricane, Hurricane Laura, which made landfall overnight along the Louisiana Gulf Coast. And we're also going to be talking about the potential of Laura's influence on our weather and also possibly severe weather for us, not just for today, but over the next few days coming up. First of all, as you see on your screen right now, is the latest track of Hurricane Laura, the projected track from the National Hurricane Center. I'm going to be bringing up right now. Here's the view of Laura, the satellite imagery from the GOES 16 weather satellite. The current location, and this is as of noontime Eastern Daylight Time or 11 a.m. Central Daylight Time, places the storm, if you're tracking it, at latitude 31.9 north, 93.1 degrees west. That is 55 miles, about 55 miles to the northwest of Alexandria, Louisiana, or about 55 miles to the southeast of Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, it's amazing that this storm, and you can see it quite clearly here, the eye of the storm is filled in pretty much. The center is about here. We're talking about a storm that is now well inland, away from the Gulf of Mexico in northern Louisiana, and yet the storm, as of this hour, as of midday on Thursday, still has hurricane force winds. It's a Cat 1. It was at one time a Category 4 storm, but it is still a hurricane. 75 mile per hour winds, sustained, maximum sustained winds, and the current movement is to the north or almost north, 5 degrees off of due north at about 16 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure is 29.00 inches. At one point last night, the storm had winds in excess of, had a barometric pressure below 28 inches, something like 27.5 inches. It was something incredible. And the storm, of course, has now moved inland and has lost some of its punch in terms of the wind, but a tremendous amount of rain falling across much of the Gulf coastal region from about the eastern strip of Texas that you see here through Louisiana, on up into Arkansas, on up into portions of Alabama, and especially so Mississippi, as the storm continues to wind up and continues to move on that northward trajectory. Now, according to the Hurricane Center, the storm continues to move inland over west central Louisiana. Satellite and radar imagery has shown a gradual filling of the eye. Laura is going to continue to rapidly weaken as it moves farther inland. The cyclone will become a tropical storm this afternoon. In other words, winds dropping below 75 mile per hour sustained winds. And as we move through time, the storm will then take a trek more to the north and then eventually to the northeast and east. As you can see on the projected track here, it will be a tropical depression Saturday morning somewhere over West Virginia, and the projection has it somewhere along the mid-Atlantic coast near South Jersey by 7 p.m. on Saturday. Now, again, the storm, although it's weakening, strong wind gusts are likely to spread over the rest of northern Louisiana today into Arkansas this evening. And two of the European models, the UK Met and the European models, continue to show the remnants of Laura strengthening somewhat over the western Atlantic. And indeed, there is some indication that as it moves offshore, Saturday evening, it may become a tropical storm or try to become a tropical storm again. On the other hand, there's an alternative scenario, and that is that there's going to be a strong cold front working its way south and east across New York State and New England on Saturday, and it may very well absorb the remnants of Laura into that frontal line, and then that whole thing will come through our area later on Saturday and on into Saturday evening. So we have somewhat of a difference of opinion among the models as to exactly what's going to transpire. But what I can tell you is this: we are going to be in for some active weather as the remnants of Laura and that cold front move on through on Saturday late. But first, let's back up and talk about today. Today here in our area, we have a potential for some possible severe weather, and that is due to a frontal line that is virtually on top of our area right now, kind of wavering back and forth across the immediate tri-state area. It eventually is going to be pushing far enough north to put us in a very humid airflow. It was so lovely yesterday. We had no real sense of any kind of humidity yesterday. It was a dry day. It was a lovely day. We had sunshine, temperatures in the 70s. But now we've moved back into this warm, steamy, soggy type of humidity pattern with dew points back up into the 60s. The front is just to our north, and now the front looks like it's going to try to waver or drop back to the south. And with it, we're looking at the potential for possible severe weather, possible severe thunderstorms, particularly later on in the day today. I want to bring up here the latest projection from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. Notice, if you will, that they have much of the Northeast either in a slight chance, a marginal chance of severe, a slight chance of severe, and unfortunately, in the immediate tri-state area, we are in this zone of enhanced activity. In other words, there is the potential for more than just a few scattered strong storms. We may have severe storms capable of producing large hail, capable of producing damaging winds, which unfortunately could lead to some trees coming down and could lead to some power outages by bringing down some power lines, and also the possibility, slight as it is, of perhaps a tornado. Normally, when we talk about the potential of a tornado here in our part of the country, we don't usually see the probability going much higher than 2%. In this particular case, however, in the zone of enhancement, we are looking, as you can see here, for the potential of as much as 5%. That doesn't sound like a very high number, but in this part of the country, 5% chance of a tornado is rather high, rather unusual. And it leads me to think that when we probably will see an issuance of a severe weather alert by the National Weather Service, by the Storm Prediction Center later today, what we're likely to see is more likely a tornado watch as opposed to a severe thunderstorm watch, because the parameters are such, because of the high level of moisture in the air, the dew point temperatures well up into the 60s, near 70, what we call the CAPE values. When we see CAPE values at or above 2,000, and we're going to be pretty close to that today or this afternoon, that tends to lead to the possibility of what we call supercell activity. Thunderstorms that are very potent, that reach up into the atmosphere 40 or 50,000 feet and bring the potential of rotation and bring the potential of possible tornadic activity. That is in the cards, we think, for later today, particularly from New York on north. As you see, again, up across the New York City metropolitan area, into the Hudson Valley and into Connecticut, that seems to be the area that is most likely or most viable for possible frontal cloud or tornado activity. In terms of severe winds, my goodness, a 30% chance of damaging winds here of in excess of 58 miles per hour, especially so again in the hatched zones, which again runs from New York, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, extreme northern and northwestern New Jersey, on up into the Hudson Valley and central New York. In this area here, there is again the potential for very severe winds, again in excess of 58 miles an hour, maybe 60 or 70 mile per hour. In addition, we also have that possibility for large hail, 1 to 2 inch size hail. The probability in this hatched zone here of hail perhaps 1 inch diameter or larger within a 25 miles of a point. This hatched area, 10% or greater probability of 2 inch diameter hail or larger within, again, 25 miles of a point. So this is what we're looking at for this afternoon. Let's go over and talk about the situation in regard to our area for later today. What you're seeing right now is the HRRR, one of the short-term weather models that we use to forecast during the course of a few hours' time. Let me bring that up again. This particular map that you see on your screen now is for 13Z Thursday. This is as of earlier today. This is as of 9 o'clock this morning. We're already past that. Now let's move things along here. Here's 9, here's 10 o'clock, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. That's just about now. And you can see that there's a forecast or a projection of possible severe weather over upstate New York, let's say in the vicinity of and just north of Albany. Now, 2 o'clock, notice that it's beginning to form kind of a line of embedded shower and strong thunderstorms. And then as we move on toward 3 o'clock, the line is becoming a bit more organized. These dots, these areas of orange and solid red, indicate the potential for, again, strong to severe thunderstorms. They're dropping southward. Again, this right now you're seeing on your screen is 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now 4 o'clock. Now they're entering Columbia County, just to the north of Dutchess County. 5 o'clock, they're moving into Dutchess County around the Poughkeepsie area. 6 o'clock, well, now the HRRR kind of breaks everything up and showing that the activity is kind of diminishing some. Here's a second line that is trying to move on through into the Dutchess County, Columbia County area by about 8 o'clock tonight, then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, even into midnight. So basically, the HRRR is saying that we're in line for the potential for severe activity most anywhere from New York City on north into the Hudson Valley from, let's say, 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon till about midnight tonight. Let's take a look at one of the other models. So we're going to take a look at the 3-kilometer NAM. This is the North American model with a 3-kilometer grid. And if we take a look at what that is indicating for this afternoon, this again would be for 9 o'clock this morning. We're already past that time frame. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. You see that up until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, we have most of the activity occurring across central New England. But now take a look. Look at this long, skinny line that the 3-kilometer NAM is suggesting is going to start forming around 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is a skinny but very potent line, again, of strong to possible severe weather. Now that the activity is really beginning to rev up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Some of this activity now spilling over into parts of the lower Hudson Valley, into portions of Dutchess County, Columbia County, Ulster County, and now moving down into Putnam County. And now the line just continues to move southward through into 8 o'clock this evening, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So once again, the NAM going hand in hand with the HRRR model by stating or indicating that we could be in line for strong to severe weather here beginning after about 3 or 4 o'clock and running on into the late night hours tonight up until about midnight tonight. Again, due to that wavering weather front that's in our vicinity, wavering north, wavering south, and interacting with that warm, sticky, humid air to produce the threat of showers and scattered severe thunderstorms. So if you're going to be going out this afternoon, be advised that after about 3 or 4 o'clock, we're going to be in line for, again, the potential for active weather, severe weather, which will run on through the evening hours tonight. Again, as we mentioned, some of this activity may be accompanied by torrential downpours, strong, gusty, if not damaging winds to over 58 miles an hour, hail 1 to possibly 2 inches in diameter, maybe a funnel cloud or two, maybe even an isolated tornado or two, all of this spelling out the potential for down trees, down power lines, and maybe, just maybe, power outages scattered across the region as well. That is something that we'll have to watch for this afternoon. Let me move things along now to talk about the activity for tomorrow into the upcoming weekend. To do that, I'm going to use one of the global models here, the GFS, and we're going to show you, this is for this evening on the GFS, and then as we move into tonight and into tomorrow, it doesn't look all that bad actually for tomorrow. It'll be a very warm, humid day with some sunshine, and maybe not until later on tomorrow will we have to worry about any activity in terms of showers and scattered thunderstorms, again, due to that wobbling weather front. In fact, I'm going to show you a map here which shows you relative humidity. I'm going to back it up a little bit here and show you. This is as of 2 o'clock this afternoon. Wherever you see the aquamarine or bluish green colors, that is indicating areas of moisture. And this line that you see here, that suggests the thunderstorm activity on the GFS that we may be seeing here later on in the day. Here you go. This is 8 o'clock this evening. And as you can see, that area of moisture right about on top of the tri-state area. And this is where the embedded showers and storms may occur during the overnight hours or during the evening hours tonight. Then notice by 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday, all of this brown that you see here, that's dry air that's moving back into the region. All of the moisture, all of the showery and thundery weather is pushed off to the south. So it would not be surprising if, let's say, later tonight, after midnight, we go into a clearing trend. You'll be able to see the moon, which is just past first quarter, a gibbous moon, a few stars as well as we get into that clearing trend later tonight. Then we'll still be in that clearing trend. We'll probably awaken to sunshine tomorrow. But notice, now we see that moisture, which has been backed off to the west, that area of moisture beginning to move back toward us now. And that will be moving in during the afternoon tomorrow. So during tomorrow afternoon, clouds will again return. And will we also see some showers and storms? It looks like we will be, with this moisture field again beginning to build over our area later tomorrow. So later tomorrow, again, the chance for showers and storms. More showers and storms tomorrow night. Now, the remnants of what is now Hurricane Laura is going to begin to move into the picture. You remember the track of that storm is going to take it off to the south of our area, off the mid-Atlantic coast by later in the day on Saturday. And here we also have another rather intense storm moving across the Great Lakes. This storm is going to drag a cold front across our area. Well, during the overnight hours on Friday night into Saturday, look at all of this moisture. Look at all of this area that will be moving over us from Friday night late into the start of the day on Saturday. This is going to be in part tropical moisture wrung out by Laura as Laura's remnants pass off to our south, and the cold front. There's the storm. The front is probably right about over here, and we will probably see showers and scattered thunderstorms generated by all of this during the day on Saturday. The darker the shade of green, the more likely that we're going to be getting into showery and thundery weather. And again, this now is for 8 a.m. on Saturday, and you can see we're just chock filled with moisture here, and especially so as we move on into Saturday early afternoon. So this low now moving across upstate New York, combining with the remnants of Laura, which will be off to our south, pushing, squeezing all of this moisture through our area during the day on Saturday. And again, unfortunately, some of this activity on Saturday could contain strong to severe thunderstorms, which once again may cause a threat of heavy downpours, hail, and possible damaging winds. But notice, if you will, look at all of this brown. That's dry air building in behind the cold front. And it's a rather sharp line. There's the cold front right about here. This is as of 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Look what happens at 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. All of the moisture is getting pushed out. The remnants of Laura getting pushed out. The cold front coming through, probably with, again, its own share of showers and thunderstorms and gusty winds during the early to middle part of the day on Saturday, then getting pushed out by that cold front, so that by later Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, the dry air begins to filter in, and the activity begins to wind on down and end. And by Saturday evening, let's say 9, 10, 11 o'clock Saturday night, it's all over. The dry air builds in. A nice northwesterly flow begins to flow into our area. The dew points begin to drop. The humidity begins to drop. The sky begins to clear. And that sets the stage for what looks to be a glorious day on Sunday. By all means, looking at the upcoming weekend, it's going to be a 50-50 split, with Saturday the day of showery and thundery weather, Sunday being the day with dry, pleasant northwesterly winds, much drier conditions, lower humidity, and also significant improvement in terms of lots and lots of bright sunshine. So in a nutshell, again, as we begin to wrap things up here, in a nutshell, it looks to be like we're going to be dealing with, again, as I bring up this map from the Storm Prediction Center. Once again, be advised that this afternoon, later this afternoon into the first half of tonight, we have that area of, again, enhanced precipitation, enhanced strong to severe activity, possible severe weather in the form of heavy downpours, damaging winds, winds that could exceed, again, 58 or 60 miles an hour, isolated funnel cloud or tornado activity, hail 1 to 2 inches. That's all in the cards for later today into this evening, ending by or around midnight. Then we'll get into a lull or a respite after midnight, followed by skies that will clear. Tomorrow, much of the day should be okay. Late tomorrow, we'll see again the chance for activity in terms of shower or thunderstorm activity. This again is for activity for today. This is the activity, the convective activity for tomorrow. Again, general thunderstorm activity, marginal, mostly south of New York City. The slight area or zone of enhancement will stay off to the west for tomorrow into tomorrow night. But again, we have a chance for showers and storms. And then when we get into Saturday, with the remnants, again, of Laura passing off to our south, and that cold front pushing in from the north and west, squeezing out that moisture. From New York on point south, a slight chance of severe marginal activity from New York and into the Hudson Valley, Connecticut, and Long Island for Saturday in the afternoon and evening. And then look at all of this. Nothing back here over the Great Lakes. That's the drier air. It'll punch in here and improve our weather significantly for Saturday night on into Sunday. Again, Sunday by far the better of the 2 weekend days. Want to show you right now the latest satellite imagery. This is, again, as of just after 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on the 27th of August, this Thursday afternoon. And notice, if you will, here that there is some indication of shower and storm activity beginning to develop, again, up here over, let's say, the Albany area and on into the area north of Kingston. We are pretty much out in the clear here in the Hudson Valley and New York and Long Island. But again, this is one time you have to root against the sunshine, because the longer the sun stays out this afternoon, the more the air is going to heat up, the more the atmosphere is going to become unstable. And with that weather front, again, wobbling back and forth and eventually wobbling to the south, that's going to be the catalyst to deliver the threat of possible severe weather in the form of showers and thunderstorms. I want to do one last thing before I close things out here. And I want to try to do this by bringing up. Let me just change the imagery here. I want to bring up a radar from Upton, the National Weather Service site out on eastern Long Island. I'm going to do that right now by enlarging the view. There you go. So you could see right here as of 1 o'clock. I just showed that to you on the satellite picture, and you could see all of this activity. This activity that you see up here, again, working its way down. Like this, here's Hunter Mountain. Here is Dutchess County, Ulster County. This activity is going to be the activity. It's going to be swinging on down toward the Hudson Valley and the tri-state area, Long Island, northern New Jersey, later today. Again, generally after 4 or 5 o'clock. And this probably will linger or last into the early part of tonight, up until about 10 o'clock or midnight. So be advised that we're going to be in line for some rather active, rather nasty weather later on in the day. I'm going to close the shutter on my camera for the moment, turn things around, and going to check out to see who's online here on our chat board, so I can try to answer a few questions about the weather for not only today, but also for the coming next couple of days ahead. Let me just bring up here our chat board. Just bear with me for a second, and I'm going to bring myself up right about now. There we go. And I see quite a few people on the chat board watching. Dennis Cassia. Dennis is always the first one on the chat board scene here. How are you, Dennis? And Jason Schaefer. We also have Paula McClellan, David Howard, looking for some breezy conditions here, David says. We're also thinking of Laura just got downgraded to a tropical storm, according to Jason Schaefer. Yeah, well, that was expected, David. It is well inland now, but still an amazingly strong storm, and lots and lots of stories, unfortunately, of problems down in the Gulf Coast after the storm made landfall as a Category 4. Now, let's see if there's anybody who has any questions here. I'm trying to see if there are any questions. Alaska Railroad said, and we do have viewers all the way up in Alaska. My dad said back in Wisconsin, this storm is causing high heat and humidity there. Well, that's, that is to be expected ahead of a cold front. Alaska Railroad, sometimes you get that west or west-southwesterly wind, compression effects, especially when it's coming down slope of a mountain, like we see here in the Northeast. The mountainous terrain tends to heat up. It's almost like pumping an air pump, so to speak, and the air gets very hot. And also, especially with the southerly component of the wind, you tend to get that buildup of humidity, and makes for a very, very oppressive type of weather pattern. With the cold front moving through and interacting with that, that shapes up to bringing the threat of severe weather. We're seeing that here in the Northeast both today, and we're also going to see that again on Saturday, both with the cold front, second cold front, and also with the remnants of Laura passing off to our south. Ryan Ford, do you think that the front coming from the north as opposed to the west could make these storms more intense? Cold fronts that always drop down from the north always seem to be more intense than storms, at least in my opinion, that come in from the west. Weather fronts that come in from the west sometimes cause a southerly component of the wind. And if you live, let's say, on Long Island, for example, a sea breeze effect may actually serve as a wall to kill some of that activity, or if not kill it, to diminish in intensity. But what we see here this afternoon, Ryan, with the front wobbling or wavering or undulating in our general vicinity, and this particular undulation this afternoon pushing that front down from the north, sets up the situation so that everybody, even those folks who are on the island of Long, can hope for a sea breeze to kill off those storms or diminish the strength, even on Long Island and coastal sections. You will be in line for the potential for strong to severe thunderstorm activity. Jason Schaefer says, does Laura keep the name if it reforms? If it reforms, if somehow, and again, there are two models that say that it is going to intensify back to a tropical storm when it moves off the mid-Atlantic coast on Saturday. Although, even if it does reach winds of, let's say, in excess of 50 or 60 miles an hour, it may not necessarily be referred to as a tropical storm. It may be an extratropical storm or a post-tropical storm. But regardless, it would still retain the name Laura. So be it a tropical depression or a tropical storm or a post-tropical storm, an extratropical storm, it would still be called Laura. So yes, it will. And I have a feeling also, after what happened this morning down in the Gulf of Mexico, Laura is going to be no more. These names, as we have spoken about, recycle every 6 years. But when you have a storm like Laura, which has caused so much devastation, so many homes destroyed, so much in terms of dollar value, this name, Laura, will never be heard from again. We will probably see that storm name retired, and we'll have it replaced 6 years from now. Not sure what that storm name will be, but it certainly will not be Laura. I'm certain that this is going to be a storm that's going to be retired. Las Guerrero says, okay, Joe, thanks. Thank you for watching. Ralph Carrillo says, Joe, how bad will the storms be on Saturday? I am in New Rochelle. Ralph, just stop thinking about Saturday. Think about this afternoon and this evening. That's going to be the first item on the menu. I know people have been talking about Laura, and what will the storm bring us on Saturday? But you got to keep focused here. We've got problems for this afternoon and this evening in terms of severe or active weather. And you in New Rochelle, you may very well see strong to severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, heavy downpours, lightning, thunder, possible tree limbs coming down, power outages. So your problem will be today, and we may see, again, more of that on Saturday as yet a second cold front approaches, and also some of the mix from the remnants of Laura get involved as well. So it's going to be kind of a double punch here, and we'll have a bit of a respite tomorrow. Much of the day tomorrow should be okay, but then later tomorrow evening, watch out for a few showers and storms. Paula McLennan, flooding in New York on August 29th. Mike Morales says, well, I'm not sure who Mike Morales is. The name does not immediately come to mind, but I will tell you that with the torrential downpours that we may see this afternoon, this evening, quite easily, we could see flash flooding later today. And we could see more flash flooding problems again, more likely on Saturday, again, with the approach of that second cold front and the remnant moisture from Laura. Paula says he's on YouTube. Well, a lot of people are on YouTube. I know a lot of weather people like to broadcast on YouTube, like yours truly, and of course Joe and Joe as well. We'll be on Joe Choppy's network YouTube channel at 7 o'clock tonight to talk more about this. By that time, we may be right in the thick of things in some places with showers and thunderstorms. Hope you watch then on Joe's channel, and I'm glad that all of you are watching here on the Joe Rayo YouTube channel. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. We're above 1,000 subscribers. We want to build on that now, and we'll be talking more in terms of nasty weather, I'm sure, if not later today, certainly tomorrow, and especially so on Saturday, as the remnants of what is now a tropical storm, but it's the former Category 4 Hurricane Laura makes its way to the mid-Atlantic coast and kind of combines with a very strong weather front as we kick off the upcoming weekend. So I'm going to close it out right now. I thank you very, very much for watching on this short fused update. Again, maybe we'll come back later today here on Joe Rao Weather. If not, we'll certainly be on the Joe Chaffee Weather channel on YouTube tonight with Joe and Joe at 7 o'clock. Lots of you watch that, I know. And we'll be here tomorrow and Saturday to watch for the impending effects of the next round of unsettled weather, again, coming our way, perhaps on the remnants of Laura as she makes its way to the mid-Atlantic coast for the start of the upcoming weekend. I thank you so much for watching. Please be safe if you're going out this afternoon, this evening, and we'll be keeping an eye on it for you right here on Joe Rao Weather. Take it easy. We'll see you a bit later.